Hey y'all, it's Jenifer Duguay with Remax Space Center coming to you today with the community shout out. And I'm really excited because today I have one of my longtime friends and who is also my home stager. So, y'all, please meet Paula Babineaux with Staging by Paula. Hey, Paula, how are you?
Oh, I'm fabulous. Thank you so much for having me on today, Jenifer. I've been
Yeah, well, I
looking
bet.
forward.
Thank you so much for making the time because I know that it's been getting really busy.
Man, it's like, praise the Lord. People are not as fearful anymore during this coronavirus, and I'm actually getting out again. It changed a little bit, which I'm sure we're going to talk about, the coronavirus and what I was doing. And actually, I was doing FaceTiming or Google Duo videos for the consultations for occupied homes, and it worked out quite well.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many did you do virtually? I'm curious.
Oh, now this is a guess. Um, in the last month and a half to 2 months, I would say 15 to 20. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I It's been pretty awesome to see that people have, really stepped outside of their comfort zone. And I think a lot of people really started to enjoy the fact that they are able to do some virtual meetings. So,
That's
you
so
know,
true. You know, when I'm in a house and I'm going through the property, we start curbside and walk all the way through the house, closets and everything, and end up in the backyard. And the actual virtual, and I hate calling it virtual staging, you know that, right? It
right,
drives me crazy because it's really remote staging, okay? I'm
right.
not the fake stuff, which is really the virtual staging. That's really fake. But I'm not all about fake. But for these remote consultations, the seller had the ability to video with their phone for me and take me through the house with them. And so we literally, in detail, I would go through the things that they needed to change, and then they would get the follow up email, just like they do for if I'm there physically during the consultation.
Right. So are you using FaceTime or what program are you
Yes,
using?
I will use FaceTime. I also use Google Duo for those that don't have the iPhone, and also
Mhm.
Zoom. But it's the moving around with Zoom that's not really good. And so that's why Google Duo works just as well as FaceTime does.
Yeah, yeah. So that's awesome.
Yes.
So
Go ahead.
and so they've been pretty receptive. And when you're walking, or I guess when they're walking you through their home, you're just kind of giving the tips and trade, or I guess tips of the trade, I guess, so to speak.
Yes. So it's very interesting to find out how people would react with the follow up after I've been there, because physically, when I'm there, the very last thing that I tell everyone is this: listen, you're welcome to send me pictures via text messages to let me see how you've transformed the rooms before your photographer gets there, and then I'll give you more advice if you'd like it. So they all say yes, yes, yes. So it's like a gamble. Are they going to? Well, since I've been doing the FaceTime and Google Duo videos, almost every single seller has sent me multiple pictures and followed up with me.
That's
So
awesome.
I'd really like to take a toll, or, ask people what the difference is. I'd like to know myself. So perhaps I can correct it, because I really am serious when I'm there physically. If I'm telling you to please send me pictures, I'd love to see them, and text me and call me for advice. I'm there for them. It's not on their dime. I'm not charging them anything. The agent normally pays for the consultation anyway. And so it's on
Right.
my time for them to send me the pictures and me look at them. And I really wish more people would do that. And so the people now during the coronavirus are really doing it.
Yes. Yeah, they are. They are.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I'm going to back up a little bit because one of the our topics was staging and do you need staging when selling your home? And my question to you is, do you want to make more money? And do you want to sell your home for quickly as possible and for top dollar? That is exactly what staging does. And now, Paula, you can tell us a little bit about the statistics on staging. I know my stats on my own listings, but please tell us, since you work with, so many different agents.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I will tell you this, that the statistics, which I didn't put these together, I am part of a corporation called Staged Homes, and I am an accredited staging professional, an ASP. It's a very large organization, and they've put stats together from their stagers posting pictures and how many days it's been on the market, and you can track that as well as right?
Right.
So the statistics say that 96% of homes that are staged sell for more money and a quicker amount of time. Now, the houses that I stage via vacancy stagings or occupied homes are on the market on the average 28 days. That doesn't mean that a house doesn't sell in 2, because some of my houses have sold in 2 days, which you're well aware of, Jenifer.
Yes, yes. We just had, one of my clients in Pasadena. We got them going. Of course, they have a beautiful home already, but I know you went and you met, or you
it was on a remote consultation.
Right, right. And they did everything. And, they were overwhelmed with 31 showings the first day, which then, resulted in 16 offers. Yeah, actually, it was more than that because people were still submitting offers after we had already, or my sellers had already chosen an offer. So they got to pick the cream of the crop. And, it was awesome. They went with the strongest. And the contract, the offer that worked out best for their needs, and awesome. So it does work, and there's and the one thing, and you can back me up on this, and sometimes you have people out there that'll say, well, you know what, I did staging, and I say, okay, did you do everything the stager recommended? Because that's
correct.
the catch.
That is the catch. So not all stagers do this, and every stager is an individual, right? And so they're going to do things different than I do. Not that I'm right or they're right, vice versa. But while I'm at the home or remotely, you will get, and you meaning the agent as well as the seller, will get a list from me, and that's curb appeal first all the way to the backyard. Everything in between. You get a detailed list. Sometimes things are left off that list. And I always tell my sellers, listen, if I've forgotten something and we've talked about it, tell me about it once you get your email. Shoot me a text message, and I'll follow up with another email putting that on the list, because I'll give you a scenario. Let's just say, Jenifer, that you hired me to go out and it's an occupied home, and I went and you got the list, they got the list. The house is still on the market 45 days later.
Right.
Then you can go back as the agent and say, let's look over her list. Did you do this? Did you do this? Da, 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 right? Because they're saying, isn't my house sold? You have to do everything. It's not because I just don't like something, or I, think that their couch is too old. That's not the case. I'm in 5 and 6 homes a day, especially during the very busy months of the year. And I know what buyers are looking for. Okay. And so the way that I stage is so a mass amount of people and all different styles and genres of decor. Okay. Nobody's going to be the same. And also when I'm staging a vacancy, you won't get the same furniture. You won't get the same decor every single time, because every house, every property has a personality. That's what I call it anyway. And so, like, not everybody jives with me, right? Not everybody
Right.
jives with you, right? The world is made up of all different kind of people and houses. And so you have to be versatile to be able to um, want many people of all different styles, to like each home. So,
Right. And I actually have a chart that I use when I'm meeting with sellers to kind of show them, the rate of return on specific upgrades so they can understand. And I always tell them, look, if you're trying to justify, something as simple as maybe painting,
yes.
maybe not replacing carpet, but there's both replacing carpet, but also cleaning carpet.
Yeah.
There's just some different things on there that vary from, replacing a roof to something as minor, like I said, is shampooing carpet. So
Okay.
they can really kind of see that, what the rate of return is, because at the end of the day, when you show people the numbers, they are able to make an informed decision, for
Correct.
themselves. And we
Correct.
understand. And I want everyone who's watching, if you're a seller or you're, someone who's not familiar with home staging, it's not about spending as much money.
No.
Our job is to make sure you net as much money. So we're trying to give you the tools, and Paula is giving you the tips and things that we can do to help basically all of the stars line up.
Absolutely.
Right.
And it's
So
interesting. I like that you pointed that out, because my goal is to not stress the seller out having to pay a lot of money to get their house looking its best. Look, it may be strictly moving older furniture into a back room versus the front room. And Jenifer, I don't know if you remember this, but 11 years ago, you had me stage a house. And this is what started my career. And you said, oh, Paula, you're going to be great at it. And I said, do what? What do you mean? You want me to do what to it? And you said, I love your house, Paula. You know colors, position of furniture. Just come and do it for me. It was a little house in Pearland. And I said, okay. And you said, I'll even go with you. I said, fabulous. I walked in and immediately we took the older furniture, or the better furniture, from the back room and moved it into the front room. So that was the first impression that buyers had of that house. Do you remember that house? And we swapped, and it wasn't on the market long at all. But it wasn't about them spending any money at all. It was about using what they already had in a different way. And I'm very good about stretching that budget.
Right.
I very seldom will post pictures on my Staging by Paula on Facebook. How you can transform a bedroom just by, I'll just give you a trick right here. Folding down a comforter and layering another one on top of it, so you don't see the older one anymore, and adding pillows. I'm telling you, I did one today. They had a red comforter. I love red, but red's got to go, people, especially in photos. You never want to put any covering in red, because that's the only thing you're going to see in photos. And so I flipped it over, and it was beige on the other side. Folded it down twice, put another blanket on it, reversed the pillows. It's beautiful. And it's very neutral colors instead of the red. But it's that simple, and it didn't cost them any money.
Right. Exactly. And that's what, people don't really understand. It's sometimes, well, we all live in our home one way, but then when you go to sell, you gotta, you gotta, get it ready and prepare it. And I'm so glad my friend Andrea, who she must be a mind reader, she's asking a question. So, yeah. So how do you keep it from being so impersonal? I have been in staged homes and they end up feeling soulless. Oh, that's a good question.
Well, you haven't been in one of my staged homes, okay? Because mine are inviting and lots of personality. But what you want to, Andrea, let me just say this to you. Is it your home that's impersonal to you when you're selling it, or homes that you've been in on the market? Because that's different. Sellers sometimes will say to me, it's so impersonal because I've taken my pictures down. I've taken my trophies of my kids down. It doesn't feel like my home anymore. But honestly, when you are selling for that, you don't want your house to be personal to you. You want it for people to walk in and feel like they can put their pictures on the wall and their stuff. So on the market, so you mean the ones you've walked into. I do personalize, but not to the extent of any family photos or photographs, but I add lots of pillows and throws and not too much artwork because we are looking at the home and the architecture, but I do add clocks and mirrors, which gives life. And also some fake plants. Fake plants are still good, especially if they're good fake plants. Because, you know, there's some that look like plastic and rubber, and I won't use that. But, yeah, I do understand what you're saying, though, Andrea, that some of the houses look so perfect and kind of boring. It shouldn't. It really should not. It should look inviting, and you should want to plop down on the couch and say, let me write an offer. That's the goal for staging a vacancy for sure.
Right. But I'm so glad that she asked that question. Thank you.
Absolutely.
But there is actually a lot of psychology involved in, it's in every, facet, right? It doesn't
Yes.
matter what industry you're in, there is always a level of psychology, but there's a lot of psychology involved in real estate and especially when selling your home and staging, because we have mentioned the color red. And that a lot of times is a color of passion. And that could be whether it's for love or anger. And we don't really want to invoke, we don't want to go and take that risk. But, there's a lot of neuro linguistics that are used to kind of signal people subconsciously to feel like they're at home. And you can do that with living things like adding flowers, the smell of, fresh baked cookies.
Yes.
Things of that nature that really, are going to, again, just speak to that neuro linguistics to really, like, people don't even realize what you're doing.
That's
right.
It's interesting that you just said about the scents, because I will always put a bar of opened aromatherapy soap in a master bathroom. Always. Because that lavender or that rosemary sends the mind somewhere, and it's usually peaceful and comforting. And that it's a journey. It is a journey when a buyer walks in that front door. What do they feel? What do they see? What are they touching? Okay. If the sight is pretty, then they want to feel it. They want to smell something. And so that, aromatherapy, and also sometimes I will put Glade plugins. That's another tip because they are cheaper than my Scentsy warmers. However, I still believe in Scentsy warmers, but very subtle smells in the houses. But I am a big firm believer of all the senses happening when you're on your journey through that house, because let's face it, it's an emotional purchase, and it's a big purchase. And you want to be right at home when you walk in through those front doors.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She says, oh, that will, let's see.
It's hard when you do that.
Yeah.
With allergies. Well, the allergy thing, okay, and when I tell you, I will never put rose or any kind of flower in there that smells. No way. I'm highly allergic to things, okay? So my smells are very, very subtle. a lot of the Scentsy smells, I can't do it because I'll start getting itchy eyes. Okay. So I'm very, very aware of allergies. Another thing, when I first started this, I used to bake or have the sellers bake cookies. I don't do that anymore because everybody's got allergies. And the last thing you want is for a buyer to walk in and eat that cookie with nuts in it and they're not aware and have
Yeah.
allergic reaction, right? So I don't do that
Mhm.
anymore. There are some
Yeah.
smells like stuff like birthday cake or um, in the fall like pumpkin roll. So it smells like you're baking, but it's just a scent. Those are good too. Food
I can
smells.
tell you what actually the most people have commented on in my, whether they've come in my home or they've gone to some of my listings. And I have this it's a caramel latte
Ah,
in the kitchen. People love
yes.
it. It's so good. And then in your bathrooms, a frankincense and myrrh based one, which actually I found this wax at Sprouts for $3.
Oh, yeah.
And it does. It smells amazing, and it's 100%.
Natural.
There's no, it's made out of coconut wax too, by the way.
Wow. Okay.
So,
Awesome.
yeah, but it's a fresh, clean, and for me, I always like the clean smells, and I like. I'm not a big fan of like the cake smells at all. I
Really?
get,
Okay.
you know, uh, but again, it's like clean because I think that, really with the clean, fresh linen kind of smells, those
Right.
things, people, lemon, they smell clean. Eucalyptus is another one, right? That
Yeah.
it has that sense of, wow, this home has been like sterilized, right?
Clean.
Hmm.
Correct. Now, talking about smells, the last thing that you want to ever do is try to mask a smell. And that would
Yeah.
be like pet odors. The worst thing you could do is plug in a Glade plug in or even a Scentsy warmer trying to mask that horrible pet urine odor. And I know we didn't talking about this, Jenifer, but one thing I will tell you, even on my remote consultations that I have been doing, if I see a kennel, if I see a cat run across in my video, I'm
Yeah.
going to talk about the smells. And if they haven't had anyone over lately, because we do go nose blind, okay? If you
Yeah.
have a pet. And that's a real thing. It truly is a real thing. You get
Yep.
so accustomed to your smells in your home and you don't think that it smells.
No,
I
yeah.
guarantee it probably does. And so the I'll tell you that there is a Febreze for pet odors. I think it might even have a silver label on it. That's one of the best that you can spray on your carpets. But if it's so bad, I'm probably going to address the fact that the agent has told me that the carpet needs to be steam cleaned. And sometimes it's so embedded that it has to be changed out.
Well, sometimes, yeah, it's in the walls and stuff too, and
Yes,
that's when
yes,
you call my friend Ed, and he does
yeah,
personal hygiene treatments on the
yeah.
home.
Or in the
So,
pad of the carpet. Yeah, it's
yeah,
bad.
it's a lot. But with staging, guys, it's very simple. There's a method to the madness, so to speak,
Yeah.
because there's a science. It's not the same as interior design. It is completely separate. And
Okay.
just like Paula mentioned, there's certain things, and then people ask me all the time, do I need to stage every room? And
Mm.
I will let you go into this, but
Okay.
in my head, I'm like, first impressions are the lasting impressions, and lasting
Right.
impressions are also the lasting impressions, right?
Right. So, and you are talking about a vacancy, am I correct, Jenifer? You're
Right.
talking about a vacancy staging?
Well, no, it doesn't matter if it's vacant or occupied. You start, anyone looking at a home is going to start
Okay.
from the inside, and you
Well,
know,
because you asked me how important it is. Yes, you need to stage every single home. I mean, every single room, except for vacancies. We're talking about occupied right now. Occupied homes, every room. If you have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, for example, and grandpa's living in bedroom 3. And he just don't want nobody in there. Well, guess
And
what?
that happened.
That's not even an option. I'm sorry. I have to look at it, and I'm sorry. He's going to have to get rid of his 3 recliners that he has in his bedroom, along with, you know what I'm saying? Yes, you are right.
No, but that I've seen like not too long ago.
And you know what? Locking a door and putting a note on it, that's not an exception. Because
no, the minute you do not let people in a room, they have already made up in their mind that you're hiding something and they're not buying your home.
There's a dead body in there. I just know it. I know it. And I'm going to buy a house with a dead body in there because it's locked. And also, don't lock the door to the garage just because you put a lot of furniture out there. Well, you put a lot of furniture out there because the furniture was too big for inside the house, and your stager wanted you to put it in the garage. Don't lock it. People know you're moving out. Go ahead and listen, the buyers need to be able to see every single room in your home, okay? Especially if you're living there. Now, if it's a vacancy, let's talk about that. People say, well, I just can't afford to stage it. Well, they probably can, and they just don't even know it because in their mind it's 10,000 or more. I have news for you. It's not, okay? It is less than your first price reduction, okay? I stage living rooms, dining rooms, the study, the breakfast, and the master. No need to stage all the rooms upstairs, or let's just say you have a 1-story home. You don't need to stage the secondary or tertiary bedrooms. The master's the one that's the most important bedroom, okay? Now, the exception to that rule would be if you have an in-law suite. You definitely want to stage that, especially if the master is up and the in-law suite is down. You'll want to stage both of those. But you don't have to go to the expense of staging every room that is for a vacancy. And that's where you'll save your money.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I love, like, so a lot of times you start to do things and I'm like, oh my gosh, my clients love the placement of their furniture. So that is such a huge thing. And so that was something else I thought that we should talk about, because I don't think people understand that, again, we all live in our home one way.
Yes.
But oftentimes, sometimes, or I see it, and I know Paula does too, where people have too many or too much furniture in a room. And like she said earlier, in the very first one that she did, we had to pull, from other rooms, and we basically emptied out that living room, and we went around the house looking for things to fill it up, and they ended up loving it. And sometimes, because I hear this a lot, they said, I never thought about placing this here, and now we're moving, but I guess I really wish I would have had this before. And sometimes we just can't see the forest through the trees.
That's right. And when we live in our homes, we get accustomed to the way it is. And there's no way you can see past that. But when I'm staging a house, okay, for instance, the living room, if I don't have a grand entrance to that living room and I'm looking at the back of the couch, you can be guaranteed that that couch won't be there, because it needs to be very open. And moving furniture allows for the room, I don't have another word for it, but for the room to breathe, if you can understand that, okay?
Right. And there's some layouts, where
it is.
If that's the only thing you can do, you kind of have a separation of space. Like, with mine, you can put, a sofa table and then have like a little seating area.
Yes.
There's things that you can do, but the flow of furniture is very important. And I see so many times where people just think that furniture belongs against the wall. And sometimes
no, and it doesn't. Let me just say, people out there in the world, whoever is watching me today, don't put your furniture against the wall. If it has to go on a wall, pull it up 8 to 10 inches. Never hug a wall. When you hug a wall, especially when you're selling your house, You are not allowing the eye of the buyer to scan the room all the way around, because believe it or not, when you push a couch against the wall, the eye doesn't stop at the wall, it stops at the seat of the couch. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It stops there. It needs to go beyond the couch and look at the wall. Then you can tell how big the room is. It's interesting you said something about a sofa table.
Yeah.
Today, I used a sofa table as a look like desk for
I can
for
see
a
that.
designated study. And it turned out perfect. We used a head chair for the dining room table as the desk chair behind the sofa table with a laptop on it. Voila, you have a study. And it was a designated study, but they didn't have a desk.
Right.
They,
And this is where we're talking about staging
that's
versus interior design. That's
Absolutely.
the
I would
difference.
never use that for interior design. And I also do that as well. I have a lot of return clients that call me when they're building their home, and I'll go with them to the design center and help them pick all the stuff out. That's just a different avenue of my business. But yeah, so, and that's a
I know.
lot of,
It is. It's a lot of fun. And I
yeah,
loved, like, when I got you to go do the first one, it's like I just got tired of being the bad guy, right? Like,
exactly.
you
Let me be the bad guy.
right. And agents, that's what you need. Take advantage of, having
Yes.
someone else, not necessarily being a bad guy, but sometimes when you have people that, hey, their gift may not be home decorating. And,
Exactly.
they might be, very, successful and have a gift for other things. So when you
Absolutely.
walk in the home and they have, their pictures are hung, 12 inches from the ceiling, they don't understand that it's supposed to be eye level at 56 inches. People don't know those types of things.
They
So,
don't, and it's so bizarre to me. I'm only 5 feet tall. However, 5'6", really mid print is all you need, guys that are 6 feet tall. Okay, your
yeah.
pictures don't need to be 7.5 feet. Okay, they don't belong there.
No,
Or
56 inches, y'all.
56 inches. That's all. That's all. Really.
Yeah, but but it happens, I mean, I've worked especially with some, basketball players and they're so giant.
They
So,
So they think their
yeah.
pictures have to be giant.
Yeah, it's funny. But,
Yeah,
they
it is.
always have a good sense of humor about it too. And those are the ones that actually end up hiring you back.
Exactly.
Mhm.
It's interesting. I recently actually went physically to client's house a second time because the first list they need a little help with. Well, what I didn't realize, and they've got a gorgeous home. I'm talking gorgeous home, over 650,000. But
Mhm.
they just didn't know the the added decor that they truly needed to make this house pop and be the best on the market. And after I left, after 5 hours being there, they hired me back to say, go shopping for us, go buy the pillows you want on the couch, go buy the comforters you want, because they're going to take it to their new house as well.
Yes.
See? So
And
that's
that
another
happened.
part.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, if you, I will say this to all the agents maybe that are listening, or all the sellers or buyers that are listening today, you know, don't be afraid to ask a stager or your agent, hey, do you know anybody that can really help us? Because we're having a hard time. We know that we need a new comforter for our guest room, but we don't want to spend a lot of money. I'm
Right.
trained in that field to know where the bargains are. I'm not going to shop at, well, I want to say Pottery Barn, but that's not true because I do. But I want to, like, I'm not going to go and spend, $1,000 on a comforter. Can I? Yes. But would I? Not
No.
for a house that's going to be on the market to sell.
Not when
It's
you go to like Home Goods or somewhere.
yes, big
Mhm.
lots. I mean, there's so many places. even Walmart. Look, in the beginning of this coronavirus, I needed more inventory, and I went and bought towels. Now, I hope everybody listens to this. Waffle towels at Walmart, $3.99. White and gray ones. That's all you need. I only use white and gray in bathrooms, by the way. Sometimes I'll use turquoise, but not too much. White and gray really is still looks the best in towels in bathrooms. But I'm not opposed to Walmart. I'm telling you, Target has some great deals as well. And you don't have to spend a lot of money.
That's right. That's right. I mean, a lot of it is just, like if I have clients and they say, you know what, Jen, I don't have, we don't have that extra money. I said, no, listen, our goal is to not get you to spend a lot of money. And
Right.
let me tell you, a lot of the things you will probably be able to use your own stuff. But now if it's a vacant house and they said, look, we don't have stuff, and we try to do what we can, I'm like, okay, do you have a family member that can help you? And then of course, y'all,
Right.
I will let Paula know ahead of time. I don't want anyone to ever feel embarrassed by anything, because I'm not going to judge. I'm not here to judge. I'm to help you. And that's, again, everyone should know by now, I love helping people. So,
I know. And Jen,
yeah.
I've staged pretty many of your homes, and vacancies and occupied both. And there were some situations where it was heartbreaking.
I know.
To me. And gosh, I might cry. Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
It's not about the money. It's not about making money. It's about helping another human being move on to the next phase in their life. You know? And, if I have to, I'm just going to do the very best that I can, and help sell that house. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's things that, people can always use, like in a bedroom, y'all. I mean, I've lent out my air mattress, to some clients, because they had to move, and she didn't really have much. And, we knew the importance of getting things back in order. And she cried. I mean, she just couldn't believe, because she didn't think that staging the home was even going to be possible. But between friends and family, myself, we got her, it was not a house full of furniture, but I mean, it was enough to be able to, help people visualize the space. And here's something I do want to back up and add, because most people who maybe haven't sold a home or maybe not in the last 15 years or 20 years, they think, oh, I know what to do. And then they start to go and they're going to do all these things. Don't do it. I like to come into a home when you've decided in your head, okay, we're ready to sell. Next step, you call Jen, or you call, whoever you have a relationship with, whatever realtor that is. But you call them, let them explain to you what's important, because I see so many times where I've gone to a house and they're like, but I've already spent, $6,000 doing these things. And I'm like, but that wasn't even necessary. I mean, how many times have we had people like, oh, I painted, and it's like, oh, and the color is not, but because they go with what they like.
That's correct. And that just happened to me recently. This couple spent $10,000 painting their home mustard. Folks, I'm here to tell you, that ain't the right color. Okay, it's not the right color, but listen. So look, did I tell them to repaint? There was no way they were going to repaint. Did I suggest what color that could have been painted? Yeah, I did. Because I wouldn't have been doing my job right if I didn't address this, But you are so right, Jen. Listen, not every agent uses a stager. I'm here to tell you that it's best to use a stager, because that stager sees things you don't see. And just like you said before, letting me be the bad guy. And the bad guy meaning, okay, your furniture is from 1969 and it has cracks, or the dogs chewed up the arms and there's no more arm foam, okay, padding on the arms that you've covered with a comforter. Okay, but I can show you what you can do. Anyway, let's get back to what I was saying, and I was off kilter. What were we talking about?
Well, just the fact that people, you call the agent.
Yes, yes.
So we can help you, before you start spending money. And because a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, we see that our sellers are spending unnecessary money. And we can save you money by refocusing you on what is important. And again, it's not about what you like, because what everyone needs to understand, first of all, is the majority of the buyers that are entering into the market to purchase homes are millennials and Generation Z. And last year, they comprised of 36% of the home buyer market. So it doesn't matter what you want. At the end of the day, you're moving. You're selling the home. So who cares if it's your taste? You want to have as much money in your net so you can put those things that you do like and personalize your new home. And that's what you got to focus. But one thing I will say, and I know that many of you already understand and will agree, that there is always an instant gratification in this world today. And people do not want to do any repairs to a home unless they're an investor. And let me tell you something, y'all. When people are walking into the homes, they are looking for reasons to off the price of the home, because in their minds, they're going to use it, to their advantage when they're negotiating. So don't give them reasons. Eliminate many reasons. This is one of the reasons why I have my clients go ahead and do a pre-home inspect, like a pre-listing inspection, to go ahead and take care of those things. It's better to know up front. Like I always say, hit it head on. You don't want surprise.
I agree with you.
Yes. And then the other part of the different generations is a lot of the younger generation, and not just younger generation, it also depends and varies from person to person, but they're not able to visualize. And you're helping them visualize the space so they understand. Statistics show people only remember the number of bedrooms by the number of beds they see.
That's so true. You are so right about that.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that if it's a bedroom, people, it needs to be a bedroom. If you don't have a bed for that bedroom, don't put anything in there. Mm-hmm. 9 out of 10 times, people will put their old grandma's chair in a bedroom, an empty bedroom. That's not, that doesn't count. And I tell them all the time, if there's no bed, let's go ahead and take everything out of there, because there's no sense in putting anything in there if you can't put a bed in there. One function per room, if that makes sense. And, Jen, I wanted to tell you that, about the personalizing thing and the impersonalizing with your occupied homes. Mm-hmm. It's no longer their house when people are, picking stuff out to sell the house or what they want to do in their remodel before they put the house on the market. And I tell people all the time, just remember, it's not your home anymore. It's the hottest commodity on the market. And to be the hottest commodity on the market, you have to please the masses. And to do that, you have to have a very neutral genre in your home. And what I mean by that is neutral colors for backsplash, neutral granite for counters. Don't go hog wild on, quartz or Carrara marble on your counters. You're not going to get the ROI on that, return on investment.
Right.
So, yeah.
And y'all, it's even, staging was crucial before, but it's even more crucial because of the fact people have been staying home. A lot of people are not feeling as comfortable maybe going out. So what they're doing is buyers, they're looking and judging and the homes online. They've always done that, but they're really choosing the homes based on picture and video. and you want yours to make that list. You want yours to stand out above the others, above the competition. And you've got to do that, and then, so during this, since everyone's staying home, this is even more of a reason to do this. But the second thing I will say, because this is a topic that has come up, and I'm sure you've heard this a lot, because a lot of people are working from home right now, and some may only have one study or maybe no study, and you've got two adults who are now forced to working at home. And they said, wait a minute, I had to use a bedroom as what I'm, as an office. I do too. But I do know as an agent, if I'm going to sell, I'm going to declutter, and I'm going to, maybe if I make it, like you said, use a smaller desk to be able to work in this space. But the focus is going to be a bed that I put in that room.
That's correct. It's interesting. I'm glad you brought that up. So this happened recently. Of course, they, mom and dad both work at home. And more than that, 2 adult children live in the home and work at. Well, nobody was using the study because they didn't feel like they could put that many people in the study. But after we finished, they were able to get 2 people in the study with a beautiful desk that they already owned. Okay. And the 2 adult children worked on laptops on the kitchen.
Yeah, I think most people do these days, which makes it a little bit easier, but you have a lot of people that don't. So
yes. I mean, now if you are set up with a lot of files that you need, and you're set up in your bedroom because there is no study, there's nowhere else to be, then while you're selling your home, the advice I give sellers right now is put your files away before the house is being shown in your master closet. And if you're working off of a small table, if it's a big desk, you can't remove that. But if it's a small table, hopefully it's just a folding table, fold it back up, slide it under the bed, and get rid of the laptop that's out. The one thing I want you to be aware of when you're selling, especially if you are in your bedrooms and there's important paperwork, that's what we don't want buyers to go through of ours. Okay. So important papers need to be put away, and laptops need to be closed, either taken with you or hidden. So buyers don't go through that. Not that they will, but it's just, you just don't want things like that out.
Right. And guys, if you have the right ingredients, meaning you have the right agent, you have the right home stager, and if you want to, like I said, get your home sold quickly so you're not having to live inconvenience like that, listen to everything the agent and the stager is telling you, because it really is like gold. If I have people all the time, well, I don't want to do that. Or even like with the price, they feel like the price is, going to be more. And I said, listen, we can do it your way. But if we don't have any showings in a week, we're going to reduce it and put it to the price that I recommended. But here's the thing, guys, I've been doing this for 20 years. Paula's been doing this for 11 years. We understand what works and what doesn't. You're hiring a professional to do their job, and we don't want you to be inconvenienced. So just remember that if you are going to make these small inconveniences because you are working from home, it's worth it. Hey, if we're able to get you, let's just say $5,000 over asking,
Woo-hoo!
You are going to be so excited, and you can go buy new furniture, new office furniture.
That, yes.
Like that's the focus. Sometimes you have people that I don't know if maybe they're just wanting to make things difficult, but really, just like with anything, guys, you're only hurting yourself. You ain't hurting me.
Thank you. That is so true. They're only hurting themselves. Listen, it's true. What I said earlier, I can't make this stuff up. Your house will sell faster and for more money if you stage it. And that's the honest truth. Not in 11 years. I had one house not sell in 11 years.
Well, there's only 3 reasons a home doesn't sell. That's price, location, or condition, right?
And all 3 of those were bad. You're right.
That's the problem.
That's right.
That's yeah. I mean, and let's face it, everything really boils down to price because it doesn't matter if it's in a terrible
All that.
location and
That's
it's in
right.
terrible condition. As long as it's priced accordingly, you're going to have, get some buyers in there,
Yes. You're right.
you know. But
Sure.
it is always something. But there's only those three reasons
Yeah.
why home doesn't sell. So, you really have to kind of think about that. And I think sometimes, when, I've had people come to me and they're like, look, my home's been on the market. It's nothing. Didn't even get any showings, or maybe they had just a handful of showings, nothing. And I say, listen, if you do everything I suggest, let's walk through the house. I'm going to be very honest because what do I have to gain to lie to you? I mean,
Right.
this is my business, right? I want to be as honest and as transparent as possible. And this is why I have Paula. And I saw, first of all, a gift in her, the ability to do things. So I knew she was going to be able to do this, but I also know that she is going to be the kind of person who is going to be honest and transparent because we are the same type of person who really truly want to help people, and we want to help you be part of your goals and your dreams, and make sure you get as much money as possible. Everyone has different reasons for moving, and sometimes it's because of financial hardships. When you're working with us, there's not going to be any judgment. We're going to do whatever we can to help you. If you're, relocating, we understand you got to be at a job. Okay, let's help you, get and meet these dates so you don't have to worry about carrying two mortgages. But again, you have to take our advice. It's so important. Paula is really excellent at what she does. She knows the placement of things. And the other thing too, music, Paula, we didn't talk about hearing. So we talked about sight, smell, and we didn't talk about hearing.
Now, if I have the ability to tell people, listen, play soft jazz or now just instrumental. If you're blaring, like ZZ Top or boy, that's telling my age, right?
Well, no, I mean, you're from Texas. You like ZZ Top, right?
Exactly. Or play something instrumental and soft though, especially if you have a home theater system. And something else as well, if you've got a media room and you can play it's called Calm, and all Calm is just video after video of water.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's rain, sometimes it's a babbling brook, sometimes it's the ocean. That's perfect. And it is about all your senses have to be enticed when you walk through a house. You're
That's
right.
That's right.
Yeah.
And if you have a tropical backyard, whether you have a pool or no pool, play tropical music. You're setting the tone. I can tell you right now, if you were to close your eyes and imagine if you were looking at a house, you walk outside, you feel the sun, you start to see these beautiful, colorful, hibiscus, birds of paradise, and you hear steel drums, and you probably can hear it as I'm saying that. It really sets a tone, and people start to say, oh my goodness, this is my staycation.
Exactly.
It really works.
It really does work.
And then speaking of backyards, those of you that don't have anything in a backyard, you need to worry about a backyard. People want that space expanded and they want to use every square footage. So if you have a backyard and you have a patio and you have a grill area and you have trees, and I say this because most people that buy new homes don't have any trees in their backyard.
Yeah.
It's important to have landscaping. You want it to be inviting.
That's right. And I want to expound on that too.
Yes.
Let's say you don't have anything back there, but you have grass.
Mm-hmm.
That yard needs to be as pretty and mowed as the front yard. People say, why? Nobody can see it. Oh, yes, they're going to see it That might be their second look, but they're going to see it. They need to go back there. And I keep looking back there because I have my blinds open and I see my beautiful backyard fence. Okay, is that important? Yes, fences are very important. If you've got pickets that are missing, fix them before the house goes on the market. If your fence falling down, make it stand up. Listen, hanging little plants out there, okay? A couple of little Adirondack chairs with a little table in between. That's all you need. If you can't afford it, go to Big Lots, go to Marshall's or Home Goods, or go to At Home. It's not expensive. I promise you, I wouldn't be guiding you if I didn't think that this would work. It absolutely does work. The little things. One lady had a beautiful backyard, but her patio furniture was in bad condition. Broken down, ripped cushions. She threw the cushions away, okay? Spray painted the furniture, which will last just enough time when the house is on the market. And I told her, I said, go buy you some cushions at Home, okay? Spend $100, let's just say, but that $100 will make for great photos on the internet of that backyard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny you say that. I had some clients that I was telling them this because, well, let me first say this, y'all. A lot of times, if you're especially in a cookie cutter neighborhood and you're like, but my home is the same floor plan and this one didn't sell. Most of the time, it's because they have done something with their backyard, y'all. People, again, they look at it as livable space. Yes, people are looking at the square footage of the home and they are looking at the price per square foot of the home, but they are looking at like when they're there and they physically can see it, feel it, smell it. I get better use over here. I have more to do, so I'm getting more for my money. And so these little things, you know, and one of my clients did go buy nothing fancy. I think she spent like $60 on a little patio set, and I think it was Big Lots. And you know, and then she ended up was on Facebook one day, and I don't know, somebody was giving away like a really nice wood table, and she said, "Hey Jen, I saw this," and I said, "Yeah, I mean." So at the time, you know, I helped her, you know, get a truck so we can, you know, move it over to her house.
Right.
And then the funny thing of it is the people that ended up buying the home wanted the outdoor furniture and paid extra for it. So she made money on that, it was kind of funny, right? But it looked so cute. And then she ended up getting things for free. And it just works because sometimes you just have to. A lot of times people say, well, I don't ever see anything like that. And I'm like, did you look? Because before you never probably paid attention.
Right.
Once you are aware of it, then your reticular activator gets started in your brain and you start to notice things everywhere else. Right.
You know,
and go ahead.
Well, I'm just thinking that I have a little SUV and I'm not opposed to picking up a table on the side of the road. And let me just tell you that I did that, okay? Put it in my car, brought it home, and it turns out it's a French writing desk, okay?
Oh, wow.
So you know me, right? And what did I do? I sanded that sucker and I painted it. That thing still isn't at my house because it's rented all the time in my inventory. I'm telling you, there's so much out there that people just disregard because it's junk to another person. But especially with outdoor furniture, people are throwing away Adirondack chairs all the time. Because maybe it's missing like a piece of, you know, the slat on the back. Oh, that's so easy to fix.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And people don't know, or because they're not handy. So you could do a lot of things.
You can. You certainly can. Yes.
Inexpensively. And that's what I tell everybody. Even if you don't have money, are you willing to, just maybe shed some sweat?
And that's exactly right. Okay. Let me just tell you one thing that I did one time. I know this is far-fetched, but it worked. Okay. Sellers had a game room. They had nothing in this game room, and it was a big game room. But they said, by the way, we have this really long uh, dining room table that's in the garage. I said, bring it up here, bring it upstairs. And they go, okay. I said, you got some blue painter's tape? And they said, yeah. We put blue painter's tape down the very center long ways of the dining room table, put a ping pong net on it, bought 2 paddles and a ping pong ball. There you go. Ping pong table.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of like convertible stuff that you can add now to the tables, but
Exactly.
I mean, you could do it for free. Why not? Right.
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely.
So there's a lot to, that y'all can do. And again, if you're not sure what things to do, you can always call, and say, hey, I have clients that call me all the time and say, okay, Jen, we're not selling the home, but we are going to be making some of these upgrades. What do
Yeah.
you think if I went with this color, tile? And they'll send me samples, just by picture.
Wow. Yeah.
And, in some of them, like with the designs, and of course, I always tell them you have to be very careful with, things with like designs, right? Like
Correct.
prints, especially when it's hard upgrades like
Yeah.
tile,
Yeah.
because what's in right now
Won't be in
will
in
go
5.
out just as fast as it went in.
That's
That's
right.
what trends are. So you have to sometimes stick with the classics. And I always tell people that if you really want to update with trends, you do that with decor.
That's
Um,
right. You're so right.
it's just unless you're one of those people that has a lot of money and you can upgrade every,
Every
5
5 years.
years.
You know,
Yeah.
the one thing I tell people all the time is, okay, yes, whoa, sorry. I, I almost knocked down my drink. Sorry about that. When I tell people about their backsplashes in their kitchen, I have one question. And the question
Mhm.
is, are you going to stay in your home more than 5 years? And the answer is normally, oh, yeah, we plan on being here 10 to 15 years. Okay, then you can do what you really want to do. If you're
Yeah.
selling prior to 5 years, don't do something that you want to do and personalize yourself. Do which, subway tile is the best, in a
Mhm.
brick laid pattern for their backsplash. It sells all the time, you know. But if you're staying in your house a lot longer, then you can personalize it yourself. But you're right, in 10, 15 years, they're going to have to replace it to sell their home,
Right.
especially if they've gone with some kind of Moroccan tile that's very in right now.
Yes. And that's exactly what I was thinking in my head. I love it. It's
Exactly.
beautiful.
It's beautiful. But is that
Mhm.
going to sell in 10 to 15 years? Probably not.
Yeah. And it is. It's so you always, when it's hard upgrades, think about the classics. When
That's
it,
right.
and when it's paint and stuff, people always call me about what's in right now. And and I don't have any problem. I'll give you Paula's number if
Thank you.
it goes above my head. And I'm like, or maybe even just having, another, brain to pick is always a good thing too. And
Oh,
that's the great thing about when you're selling. It's not about Paula necessarily being a bad guy, but it's also about having another pair of eyes
sure.
looking at it from a different perspective, because every
Yeah,
perspective that we can get, because we're all different personalities, right? Like you said that from the very beginning.
absolutely.
And that's always the best thing. Let's get everyone's perspective of how that world that home looks. And here's
Absolutely.
another thing. Don't be sensitive if something doesn't look
Yeah.
right.
Hey, listen, I'm sensitive enough, and the people that know me very well. I am passionate about what I do, but the most important thing to me before I ever enter, Jen, I say a prayer because I want to make sure that the words that I speak do not harm that seller, because
Right.
I want to speak truth, and I'm there to help them. And that's
Right.
my
We're never
goal.
wanting to hurt anyone's feelings. That's never our
Never,
intention.
never. That's not my desire at all. I, it would, it would kill me if I knew that I hurt someone's feelings while I was
Right.
there. That would just destroy me. And I
Right.
absolutely love what I do. And I want to help people. You're right. I do. It's never been about the money.
Right.
It never has been. It never will be. If
Right.
I look to see a person's demeanor change when they see the results of what a staging can do is phenomenal to me. It just makes me so joyful.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Really
And,
does.
and here's what I always tell people, you're hiring me to do a job for you, and I'm going to take my job very seriously, which means I'm going to be honest, open, and transparent. And with that said, it's no different than if you're taking your car to a mechanic because your engine or your transmission's out. Would you want them to like just stick a Band-Aid on it and tell them
Exactly.
have them tell you what you want to hear versus sorry, but now you have a $7,500 bill in order to fix this. You just have to know. And again, if you're hitting it and facing it, you know,
Head on, yeah.
head on, then you're going to be better off because you let us who have been experienced help figure out a way that's going to save you money. That's what it's about. And you know what? I'm sorry, I didn't realize Andrea, she had asked another question. So yeah, she does. She actually has a Cervelle home, and and I love her house. She's so talented, but she works from home. So like she says here, she has a very open floor plan, and the formal dining is open to the kitchen and the eat-in. So her kitchen and breakfast area are one area, and the dining room is just across the way. So no one actually uses the dining room. In this particular floor plan, I can tell you that most people have had this issue. But I think the thing of it is currently she's using hers as an office.
Mm-hmm.
I think in this particular layout, you can really have the imagination in doing whatever. Yeah. And here's my thought on this, and you can correct me, Paula, but a formal dining room is not really important to people anymore because homes that have had formal living rooms and formal dining rooms, quite honestly, when I show homes, people are saying, well, it's wasted space for me.
Right.
And, in the younger generations, okay, first of all, they don't know they don't ever eat as a family like we've always done.
Right.
And so it's very different. So they really do see this as a wasted space. And then here's the other thing. A lot of times, a lot of the people are, they've been transferred here.
Uh-huh.
And so they're like, well, I don't even have a large family here. I don't even know anyone here. I don't need a formal dining room.
Right. Well, in her question, I'm just assuming that she means when I stage a house that's an open floor plan like that. Typically, I would stage it as a formal dining. However, on the flip side of that, if you had me come in as a designer and on the decorating spectrum of it, I'm probably going to stage it as an office. You see the difference? Okay, so
I guess we lost Paula. But yeah, so we can stage it. Oh, good. I'm glad we didn't lose you. So
yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. So so you'll stage it according to the needs, and it's very easy. Sometimes it's just a matter of get rid of that dining, the chandelier or whatever. Use the space separately.
Correct. Now it'll be interesting because you're right about the chandelier. No staging was my question. I think she meant staging was the question. To stage it,
Someone must be contacting her.
Yes, and I apologize. It's out of town family that's trying to get a hold of me. I don't know about that, but anyway, to stage it, I would be staging it as the builder minute to be staged. Does that make sense? Which means a formal dining room to sell. If I'm decorating it, however the family needs it to be designed is what I would do. Because the dining room is going to have a chandelier, just like you mentioned about the chandelier being there. It looks odd. So if if there's a chandelier there, you can just about bet 99.9% of the time it's going to be a dining room. I'm going to put a table and chairs there. Yeah.
Right.
But
And
yeah,
Andrea, I would say, like, if you were to sell your home tomorrow, and you were to ask me, I would say, let's look at what the builders are doing, because they spend a lot of money on.
yeah,
And if they're
yes,
seeing, as dining rooms, then you would want to follow suit again, because they're already doing and spending a lot of money on studies. However, they do it for national staging. I don't know if they're really focusing on, like for us, just Pearland, because everywhere can be a little bit different. So,
yeah.
but
Now I have
that's
had,
just a good rule of thumb.
yeah, I have had sellers actually change out the chandelier to a ceiling fan and make it an office. If that's the case, then I would stage it as an office. It all depends on what's overhead in the way of a chandelier, a ceiling fan. I just had one the other day, and they had changed it to a ceiling fan because they didn't need that as the dining room, and it was a study. And they moved out, so I staged it as a study because there's a ceiling fan there. So I wouldn't put a table. You get it? It really does matter about the situation, what's going on. But typically, if there's a chandelier and it's a dining, I'm going to stage it as a dining, to answer Andrea's question. Yeah.
Right. Yes. But there's so much fun you can do. And again, y'all, even if you're not thinking about selling, but you would like maybe just some help with placing, your furniture, or let's just say you don't know what to do as far as decorating goes, you can contact Paula. She helps with that stuff too. I mean, your home. And I think right now everyone has, we've been home more often than we've, than we probably ever have in our lives. And I think that now what I'm experiencing is a lot of people said, you know what, I'm really focusing on updating my home. And, so now I've been asking, and I'm going to ask you this, Paula, since we've had the stay-at-home orders and you have been home, is there anything that you would want to change in your home to accommodate things, or maybe something you just want in your home in case there ever is another stay-at-home order?
Well, Jen, interesting you should ask.
What are you working
I
on?
know this, but I had just remodeled my house right
Yes.
before we were told we had to stay home.
It's beautiful.
So I'm so grateful that I was able to do that before the orders were to stay home, because I've been able to enjoy this remodel. And folks, let me just say one thing. If you've contemplating remodeling, now that you've spent a lot of time in your home and you're thinking, man, I sure wish I would have, you should. I should have 10 years ago, and I did not. And because I didn't think I could afford it. And I'm here to tell you that it doesn't cost near as much as you think it does. I was able to refinance my home. I went down almost to 2% interest rate. And I'm beyond blessed having what I have right now. I'm looking at my kitchen that I can't believe it's really real. I'm just so blessed, I tell you. And I'm so thankful that I was able to do that. And I would tell people, do it. If you're contemplating it, do it. Just do it. Just do it.
Well, especially if you understand, like, people are always willing to drop a lot of money on vacations.
Exactly.
This is something, yes, that's an experience. And I agree. We all need those experiences and those getaways. But I think that it's also been, a lot of people have now kind of realized, like, oh, wait, because we've never thought this would happen. No. So it's a different mindset. And now they're ready to prepare just in case. But I think they also realize that most people at first, even while they kind of fought it, they're like, you know what, I really love being home. I love being,
Right.
I've heard people saying I love being with my spouse. And it's going to be so hard when we have to go back to work, which is so refreshing to hear, by the way.
Oh,
Because
exactly. I know. Because you hear
yeah,
so many times about, oh my gosh, he's home all the time. You know, and
yeah,
it's nice to know. Look, that people got back together. Kids are home together. People are eating dinner together. You
yeah.
need to enjoy what you live in, whatever that might be. Whatever that might be, even if it's to paint your walls a different color, change out your floor to a luxury vinyl plank. People, do it. It's
And here's
waterproof.
the thing. Yes. So they always say remove the clutter and your happiness increases.
Oh my
The
goodness, yes.
same includes updating your home. So for you guys that are out there and you're not listening to your wife when she's telling you she wants a new closet or she wants a new bathroom, happy wife equals happy life.
Yes,
And you know what?
absolutely.
I don't know how many men have said, I don't even know why I was dragging my feet. I know why. You didn't want to spend the money. But once you did,
Exactly.
you love it. And so just do it. It makes it, you like your home, you're happy, and you feel good. This is important. That's what you need when you come home. Your home is supposed to be your sanctuary. So, but Paula, I am so grateful that you took the time away to be able to come and speak with me and give us some great tips.
I'm the one blessed.
Any last minute?
Oh, I'm just the one blessed. And I just thank you so much, Jen, for 11 years ago believing in me and seeing this gift that the Lord has given me. Because I got to tell you, I'm the one blessed with every single home I'm in and every person I get to meet today. I'm beyond blessed. And I cannot tell you how grateful I am, really, truthfully.
Well,
Appreciate
I know I'm one thing I'm good at is spotting other people's God gifted abilities.
Thank you.
And
Thank
and I've done it a few times, and people have actually started businesses and have been very successful. So I am very proud of that record. But you
Yeah.
are very welcome. But again, God's the one that provided you with the gift.
Amen. I just
I
never knew I
recognized
had it.
it.
Yeah.
Sometimes people just need a little oomph,
Push. Little push.
yeah,
Well,
just
thank you for
encouragement that you can
Yes.
do it. But here's the thing: when you see passion,
Yeah.
you can't deny that.
No.
And I always tell people all the time, it doesn't feel like work when you love what you do, right? Because that's been the key.
Oh my.
Find what you love and make a
Yes.
career out of it.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Listen, I was a medical transcriptionist behind a computer for
Boring.
25 years. People, can you imagine this personality with no people around?
And
Oh
now
my
they're
goodness.
really just kind of like they're gone, really, because now everything artificial intelligence is taken over, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's true.
I remember like 15 years ago when you and I were like, when you would tell me, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't
I don't
know.
I
And
don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's voice recognition and it's like, I'm not gonna have a job. And then it just kind of Jen says, why don't you go stage this house for me? Okay. Not sure what she's talking about, but okay. But listen, that started it 11 years ago. And then becoming an ASP completely changed the whole realm and existence of my business. It
yeah.
just it became a business. That's what happened.
Well, when you expand your knowledge and you earn
Absolutely.
certifications and
Yes.
designations, it just speaks to the fact that you're willing to learn everything you
Yes.
can. And I
Absolutely.
think people, people respect that and they recognize that. And, and they want someone who's going to, stay on top of these things.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Jen, I
Continuing
thank you so much
education is
for having
important.
me on.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
so
Thank
much.
you. And again, y'all, I have Paula's information included in the link below. So if you want to just consult with her about, maybe just staging your home, whether you're going to stay there or not, or if you're thinking about selling, give me a call. I would love to talk to you about what we can do. I know right now there's a lot of people that are questioning, what they're going to do because of certain financial things. And I just want to encourage you that I'm here. I would love to speak with you without, any kind of judgment. I really just want to make sure that you are understanding the decisions that you're making based on facts, because there has been a lot of misunderstanding going on. But also, there's a lot of times just very simple solutions to things like staging. And again, thank you so much, Paula. Of course, I know we'll have a whole lot more business coming soon. But it was great to have you. And again, y'all, I'll share her information down below. So if you have questions, you can reach out to Paula on her Facebook page, Staging by Paula, or you can just connect with her by her phone. I'll put her phone number too, so you can reach out to her.
Thank you, Jen.
So,
thank you so
you're
much.
welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. And y'all have a wonderful day. And until next time, we'll see you then. Bye.